Hi, I'm Zin. This is my presentation on classroom observation. The purpose of my assignment is to analyze the successes and problems of the lessons classroom management. So, according to McDonald 2013, classroom management is a teacher creating a positive learning environment that promotes and reinforces active engagement in both academic, social, emotional learning by teacher actions and instructional techniques. The classroom observation was conducted at Help International School on 11th February this year. It was an English literature lesson for Year 7 taught by Miss Jessie. The lesson was 55 minutes long. They were learning a short story. It is written by E.M. Forster. The machine stops. This is the lesson objectives. Miss Jessie showed the students the lesson objectives before the class started. The class has 24 students in total, 15 boys and 9 girls. So we first look at PLF. PLF is Positive Learning Framework. It is a framework that is developed based on Circle of Courage, COC. In COC, there are 4 needs. They are belonging, mastery, independence, generosity. It is said that a classroom should fulfill these needs in order to create a positive learning environment. So come back to PLF. According to McDonald, there are 3 phases in PLF. They are preparing to teach, classroom teaching starts with the preparation before the class begins. For example, teachers have to prepare their management plan first before they enter the class. They have to think how they can create a welcoming classroom. Secondly, which is to carry out the design of the lesson and instructional techniques. For instance, engaging all learners in learning and maximizing the instructional time. It is to carry out the plan in this phase. And lastly, this phase is to correct the student behaviors to encourage learning and determines the skills and strategies that the teachers use to keep the students' attention in learning. Some of the COC Miss Jessie has applied in her classroom are belonging and generosity. According to Jackson, 2014, belonging is like a fundamental need to people. It's like food, water, and air. We need them. Miss Jessie built a relationship with her students. In the classroom, her students trust her, and she trusts her students. They were learning in a safe and comfortable environment, which the students are actually able to share their ideas and take risks, even if they think the answers could be wrong. Also, Miss Jessie is approachable. So when the students have any problem, they will come to Miss Jessie because they trust her. Miss Jessie put her effort in making the students feel like they are wanted. She paid attention to every student. For example, she observed everyone's condition before she started her lesson. When she noticed that one student did not bring his copy of the story, he gave him a paper to do his notes. Another one is generosity. So McDonald said that young people feel valued when they are able to help others. Miss Jessie always encouraged the students to help one another in the classroom. For example, one student, he did not understand the meaning of the word limp. So the teacher did not give the answer directly to the student. Instead, she gave the other students opportunity to help this student. The students will feel it is generous to share their ideas to the class. And the ones who help the student, they will feel the achievement and they will feel they are respected. So in this way, she created a caring environment. And this caring environment actually promotes collaborative learning in the classroom. So the students can learn together. So after talking about PLF, we now look at the other 2 theories. They are the Skinner's operant conditioning, and Glazer's choice theory. So operant conditioning is developed by Burgers Frederick Skinner. He believed that all learning takes place through a form of conditioning. This conditioning is a method of learning that occurs through rewards and punishments for behavior in a stimulus and response pattern. For example, in the classroom, Miss Jessie praised her student when the student answered the questions correctly. So this can be seen as a reward given to the student. Thus, the behavior of answering the question is reinforced through the use of reward. Another one, Glazer's choice theory. So Glazer suggested that humans have 5 basic needs. They are survival, love and belonging, power, freedom, and fun. Irvin mentioned that our behaviors are driven by genetics to satisfy the needs. So it can be said that if the needs are not satisfied, the 5 basic needs, the learners might behavior in the classroom in response to this. So the theory suggests that the role of a teacher is to design a classroom that can satisfy the students' needs. The situation I choose is there was a student, he kept disturb his desk mates during the lesson. Like he knocked the table and he making noises with his friend's pencil case. For this situation, Miss Jessie used the strategy questioning. So she asked the student few comprehension questions, and the student was able to answer all the questions correctly. It is because the student has read the story ahead than others at home. So when he felt boring, he misbehaved. So this is the reason behind. The 2 actions I propose, first one is I will let the student know his behavior is actually affecting others' learning experience. So maybe I will say, if they cannot learn because of you, then you might have to teach them after the class. It is seen as a punishment to him. So this ties to the Skinner's approach. It is this action also adhere with Glazer's choice theory. So we can prepare some extra exercises for advanced students so that they won't have the feeling of wasting time. For example, questions that are deep, that require them to think critically, that will be a great material for them. By giving them extra work, they can choose to be focused on the lesson or challenge themselves to have more difficult work. To summarize, I will talk about my reflections on this project. From the classroom observation, I learned that there should be no gap in between the lesson. When there's a gap or when an activity is too long, the students will react to it by misbehaving. For instance, the reading activity of the short story was too long. The lesson, more than half of the lesson was actually reading the short story by the students. A few students they yawned and lied down on the table. This showed that they feel the boredom of the lesson. So it is important for the teacher to utilize the time in the classroom. The second one, I also admire the way Miss Jessie built the classroom environment. She created a very positive environment for the students to learn. When students learn in the classroom, they have no pressure, and you can see from their face they are so relaxed. Miss Jessie creates this kind of learning environment by standing at the door to welcome each student before they enter the class. And during the lesson, she pay attention to everyone. From her tones and from her facial expressions, we can observe that she was excited to teach. So her motivation actually affects the students' behavior. She always smiled at the students. So I learned that I should also create this kind of positive learning environment for my students. I also learned that we have to plan our instructions first, like earlier before we give the student. So when we give the instruction, we should give them clearly, like Miss Jessie. Miss Jessie, she even put her instructions on the slides in case anyone does not understand. So I was very impressed by her providing verbal instruction and visual instruction at the same time for the students. Giving instructions clearly is very important. It saves the time, and then it maintains the effective classroom. My students, sometimes they find my instructions not very clear, so I should consider putting the instructions on the slides also, so they have they have two sources to refer to. If they don't understand verbally, they can look at the slides. What I learned from the course is that because I'm still a student, I don't get a lot of opportunities to look at the authentic classrooms. But from this course, I am exposed to a lot of authentic examples during the lectures, and I believe that all these examples can be happen in the real classroom. The examples are authentic. This allows me to learn from others' experiences, which is very useful to me. And then the classroom observation also exposes me to an authentic classroom, which I can sit in and listen to the teacher, how she teaches, and look at the students, how they learn, how they behave. So I love the classroom observation. It is always the thing I wanted to do, but I don't have the opportunity. So why I love the classroom observation is that because I think this kind of experience is very important. It's equally important with learning the theories and approaches. So I appreciate this kind of opportunity for us to visit the classrooms and see how other teachers teach. Second, the conflict theory also very useful to me. The steps to resolve the conflict is very applicable in most of the situations. As I'm a home tutor, it is always a big issue to deal with the students' behaviors. There's a pair of students of mine, they are brother and sister. They always argue during the class. So I found that this approach I learned from the course is extremely useful in solving the conflicts between them. Even I do not have the opportunity to try this theory yet, I'm sure it will help me. I must remember all the steps, the 7 steps, so I can apply it in the future. The last, managing the students' behaviors is always a nightmare to me. I have learned that there are reasons behind every behavior. For instance, wasting students' time could lead to misbehavior, as mentioned before. I learned that there are some possible reasons why a classroom fails. Some other reasons that the students are not well behaving could be their 5 basic needs from circle of courage are not satisfied. So knowing the reasons are important because before I solve the issue, I have to truly understand the issue so that I can solve them well. Lastly, the 3 steps to improve. The first one I will be focusing on to develop my classroom management skills is to be familiarized with the theories and approaches. The next step is the application. I will apply them in the classroom to see what is working for me and the students and what is not. So for the last step, I should do reflection after my lessons to evaluate my classroom management. So to me, I think peer observation will be very helpful. And also I can do classroom observation just like the assignment given in this course. I can observe other teachers' classrooms to improve my skills too. This is my references. These are my references. Thank you.